Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Real quick, I want to show you what's up with Adam Vinatieri's record 43 consecutive field goals, a record he set yesterday, October 23rd. And we're also going to preview Monday Night Football, which has a lot to do with 43. There's often themes between the games if you follow the numbers. So Vinatieri, new record, 43 straight. He does it at age 43, which is pretty amazing, especially when you see how many 50-plus yarders he's made, something that most kickers are around 50% at. But Mr. Vinatieri, he's got to be, without a doubt, the best kicker in the history of the NFL. We've never seen someone who's so clutch, so accurate. Now he has the record of 43 straight at age 43, and get this, exactly 43 weeks after his 43rd birthday. You know? Isn't it something else? A week ago, I was showing you how his first one made on Sunday Night Football against the Texans a week earlier. It was his 39th straight, and always on Sunday Night Football, it's all about 39. SNF equals 39. There's always big tributes to 39. Last night's Sunday Night Football game was in Arizona, one of two states with gematria of 39. Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. What was the final score last night? Was it 6-6? Did it go to overtime 3-3 in Glendale on the 33rd parallel, where Glendale also equals 33? Anyway, back to Adam Vinatieri. I'm noticing that his date of birth is a date with 112 numerology. He's definitely playing for the right team on the Colts. You know, he made his legacy with the Patriots. Look at this. The Colts symbol is the horseshoe, which equals 112. Andrew Luck, the star quarterback, equals 112. He just had that record performance in Houston, setting up this game where he now got the new record. Houston also 112. Last week's game against Houston, where the Colts lost in the end in overtime, that was 112 days before the Super Bowl that will be in Houston, February 5th, 2017. 16 weeks in the year of the season 2016. This number 43 in sports, it's often coded next to champions. And the Colts might very well be the AFC champions by season's end. They became 3-4 in this game. They're in a hole right now, but there's still a lot of season left. They're in the weakest division. I think we're going to see something special from the Colts this year. It's been forecast. I've been reporting on it since February of this year. Also, from the day he did this until his upcoming birthday, his 44th birthday, the Super Bowl will be in Houston this year on a date with 44 numerology. Anyway, from this accomplishment to his upcoming birthday is 66 days. Why that is interesting is because NFL and Jewish gematria equals 66. The first Super Bowl in the 66 season. The quarterback of the Colts, Andrew Austin Luck, has name gematria of 66 as well. Special number to the NFL. Super Bowl number. And I really do think we're going to see the Colts sneak into the Super Bowl. Probably upsetting the Patriots in the season of Deflategate. And I can already hear the narrative now if it happens. Well, you know, the Colts, they got off to a rough start, but they got that young superstar, Andrew Luck. He's paid the most money in the league. Tom Brady, he's almost 40 years old now. So maybe he's just winding down. Maybe it's time for, you know, the new kid in town, that number 1 overall pick out of Stanford. You know, it'll be something like that. Something like that, Truth Seeker. So anyway, that's Adam Vinatieri, his accomplishment of 43 by the numbers. And for a lot of you NFL fans, realize that these kickers are amazing, and most of the kicks that they miss are purposeful. They're told when to make and when to miss in the rigged games. All you Vikings fans last year in the playoffs, if you couldn't see that that was a purposeful shank against the Seahawks, you're not paying attention. If you watched Sunday Night Football last night and think either of those misses were accidents, you're not getting it. How many times have I said they purposefully put the misses off the goalpost to remind us how good they are? These guys are pros. They should be able to do that. If you don't think a grown man who's paid millions of dollars to kick a ball can aim it and kick it off a goalpost, you know, it's probably because you're not an athlete. I know as a child, as a baseball machine, which my dad raised me to be, My dad's born on the 108th day of the year. You know, isn't that funny? We didn't know anything about numerology or gematria, but again, if you don't know, there's 108 stitches on a baseball. The Cubs are going for the 108-year curse breaking this year. Anyway, my dad, what he had me do as a child was throw a ball through a tin can with a net behind it like a machine. I would do that on the weekends. When I was done with my schoolwork for hours, I'd be out throwing a baseball. I'm telling you, True Seeker, as a child, 9 times out of 10, I could peg a little tiny can from a pitching mound all day. You better believe these grown men who've been playing this sport their whole life can kick a ball off a post. That's why they're in the NFL. That's why they're paid millions. So anyway, here's the date numerology for Monday Night Football. October 24th, 2016. I'm going to show you what's so interesting about this game. It's a date with 70 numerology, 43 numerology. We just talked about the significance of that number, how it connects to champions. The defending champions are playing at home in this game. They're playing against the Texans, who are hosting the Super Bowl this year, also where Brock Osweiler is now the quarterback, who was the backup QB last year that was part of the Broncos' narrative of making it to the Super Bowl. So anyway, today has a life lesson number of 43. It's also a date with 16 numerology. Here we are in 2016. When you write out 16 as a word, it sums to 33, like MNF for Monday Night Football. Always a whole lot of 33 in Monday Night Football. The Broncos tonight are wearing their uniforms from Super Bowl 33 that they won. They're doing a Super Bowl 33 tribute tonight with their uniforms. It's already been announced here on Monday Night Football, where everything's 33. It's also a date with 50 numerology, and of course the Broncos just won Super Bowl 50. A year ago, this time, I was saying everything's wrapped up for the Broncos. So anyway, Gary Kubiak's returning tonight, who had a fake migraine. I covered that last week. I showed why the Chargers should upset the Broncos. Showed how it was all set up by the numbers. In that video, I showed how Gary Kubiak faked his collapse when he was the coach of the Texans. Gary Kubiak, the coach of the Broncos, was formerly the coach of the Texans. He faked his collapse for part of the fake NFL WWE narrative. Last week, the fake migraines. Now he's back this week on 43 Day. Such a joke. From his birthday to today is 70 days. And remember, there's 70 numerology on today's date. I'm going to show you what 70 has to do with his coaching record. First, know that today's October 24th, the day that leaves 68 days left in the year. Denver equals 68. Denver Broncos versus Houston Texans. What we're looking at here is the all-time record for the Houston Texans against the Denver Broncos. They've played each other 5 times. The Texans currently trail with 2 wins and 3 losses. If the Texans won tonight, upsetting the Broncos in their stadium, they would become 3-3, something like 33, which is possible on Monday Night Football, where there's a lot of 33 tributes. That said, it's not a guarantee that that's going to happen. Look at this. Here's the pattern. The Broncos have won 3 of these games, the Texans 2. The Broncos won the first ever matchup, 13-31. Texans won the next one, 31-13. The next time the Broncos won 23-24. Then the Texans won 31-25. Then most recently, Broncos 13-37. Sum of 50 points. Today they're meeting on the date with 50 numerology. So anyway, if the pattern continued, the Texans would win tonight. If the Texans win tonight, remember this perfect pattern. Remember how it brings it to 3-3. But I'm not certain that that's going to happen. Again, everything on Monday Night Football is 33. It's the reason you got John Gruden up there. It's the reason the Gruden brothers are in the NFL in the first place, born into these Freemason families. The Texans have won before in Denver. Tonight the game's in Denver. The last time it happened was September 23rd, 2012. New Year's Day on the French Republican calendar. Paris, France equals 56. Notice there was 56 points in that game. That's where the French Republican calendar was first started. This is New Year's Day on that calendar. Very interesting that 56 points in that game. But anyway, from that game to today is 213 weeks, 4 years, 1 month, 1 day. Could happen again. Trevor Siemian, who will be starting tonight for the Broncos, he comes in with 5 games under his belt, 4 wins, 1 loss. The game where he lost is where he injured. It was all part of the 13 ritual that weekend. He wears the number 13. Brock Osweiler tonight comes in 9-4. He has a chance to become 10-4 if he wins, upsetting the Broncos, his former team. And if he does become 10-4, remember that from today's game to the Super Bowl is 104 days. The Houston Texans are hosting Super Bowl 51. Houston Texans equals 51, conspiracy 51, hosting Super Bowl 51. I meant to mention that this game also comes 303 days after Trevor Siemian's last birthday. That's a little something like 33. So here's Gary Kubiak. Notice his coaching record. He comes in tonight with 70 losses all time. It's a date with 70 numerology. 70 days from his birthday. Is this telling us that he's going to exit the game still with 70 total career losses? It seems interesting that there's this focus on this number. Now notice he has 77 career wins. This is week 7. 77 career wins, week 7. Is he going to get his 78th or be stuck on 77? With Denver, this is going to be his 23rd game. He's going for his 17th win or his 7th loss. Could he get his 7th loss in week 7? If he loses tonight, we might see the Broncos really fall apart for the rest of the season. And the reason I say that is because after he had his fake collapse with the Houston Texans that year, the Texans lost every single game to close out the season. Are we going to see deja vu with the Broncos? If they fell to 4-3 tonight, which is what they would do with the loss, remember the word champion equals 43. It could be a tribute to them being the defending champions. So Bill O'Brien, the head coach of the Texans, he just had his birthday yesterday. He just turned 47 years old. The Texans are hosting Super Bowl 51, the 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. First Super Bowl was in the 47th season. Bill tonight is looking at his 17th career loss or his 23rd career win. Some parallels with Kubiak. You know, Kubiak's in his 23rd game looking for his 17th win. I should mention that the name Bill equals 17. It would be fitting for him to get his 17th win against Bill. It might also be fitting, though, for Bill, to get his 17th loss. We'll see. That's what the spread favors. That's what the money in Vegas favors. Most people expecting the Broncos to win. But there is a possible narrative here for the Texans to take it. Here's something interesting. If the Broncos lose tonight, home teams will be 7-7 in week 7. 7-7 in week 7? That said, if the Broncos win tonight, and actually the record will be 7-7-1 because there was a tie. So 7-7-1. If the Broncos win tonight, home teams will be 8-6-1. Broncos equals 86, Denver 68. Again, we're on the day that leaves 68 days left in the year. This is also going to be Bill O'Brien's 39th game with the Texans. The Texans play in NRG Stadium, which equals 39. Construction began 3/9. The game's not in Denver, but Denver did win last year with Peyton Manning going out at age 39. On Monday Night Football, all-time, the Denver Broncos have played 66 games. Their record is 30 wins, 35 losses, 1 tie. They have an all-time losing record. This will be their 67th game tonight. The Texans, they've played 7 games on Monday Night Football. They're 4-3, kind of like 43, the number we're looking at. They're either going to be 4-4 or 5-3 by the end of the night. The name Bill O'Brien equals 53. 53. If Bill O'Brien wins tonight, that's what it's all about. Birthday present for him the day after his birthday, beating the coach who he replaced, Gary Kubiak, the defending champion. If the Texans lose tonight, they'll be 4-4, a lot like 44. They're hosting the Super Bowl on a date with 44 numerology, February 5th, 2017. So I am torn on tonight's game. If I was a gambling man, I would not gamble on this one. Sometimes they script these games so tight. And again, I have a theory why they might script them so tight. It might be very possible that in some of these games, they make it so that they can adjust the outcome depending on the way the money weighs in Vegas. So anyway, both teams 4-2. Someone's going to be 4-3 by game's end. Someone's going to be 5-2. 5-2. The Texans hosting the Super Bowl on February 5th. 5/2, as they write in most parts of the world. You know, this could be a big Super Bowl tribute, defeating the defending Super Bowl champs. So I've given you both narratives. If you want to gamble on the game, you know, go with your instincts. For me, this one's too close to call. So I just want to expose the knowledge, the way the games are scripted, why this is the primetime game tonight. And as you watch, you know, we're probably going to see these numbers come up. Until next time, Truth Seeker.